program so far, and maybe give us a little bit of the backstory about the genesis of the Heads Up program.
Absolutely. So the sensationalism, the issues facing football, and now arguably really all sports, is well documented. Call it the perfect storm. USA Football looked at that and said, well, what's the action-based, proactive program out there that's looking to create a solution? There's a lot of discussion, but who's doing something that we actually can get on the field and work with those coaches and those parents and those players to try to affect change? And that is what Heads Up Football is all about. It's a program that's tangible, that you can get your arms around, that you can actually work with, and that actually reaches youth players, youth coaches, youth commissioners. Now it's moving up to the high school ranks. It includes the things that Charlotte talked about. It starts with equipment fitting. We've got to make sure we fit the equipment properly. Concussion recognition and response, heat and hydration, heads-up tackling. It will continue to evolve. We already know that it has to have heads-up running, heads-up blocking. Other components will continue to be added. But it's making a difference. I can tell you there are 10,000 youth football leagues across this country. There are 15,000 high schools that have varsity programs. In only 2 years' time, we're talking about the most fragmented of all youth sports is football. In only 2 years' time, we already have over 50% of youth football engaged in this program. And the reason for that is because people love the game. You love this game, you care about it, you want your kids to play, you got volunteers. I often talk about the fact that look at the youth level. That's where you have volunteer coaches. That's where you put your heart and soul into it. I mean, the benefits are about giving back to the community and helping your kids. And the other component I'll talk about is it's not just the coaches and the parents that have to learn this. This is why I love this setting. It's you, the parents. You have to be engaged in this process because it's probably the most complex sport to teach. So the fact that the Cowboys are hosting this and bringing you into the fold and teaching you, that is a component of Heads Up Football. We have to have the parents more knowledgeable of what's going on, oversimplifying it, but you need to know when a headache is more than a headache. And then what are those signs and symptoms and what can be done to help my child? Because the odds are you're going to be dealing with that. They're not going to be with the coach on the side. They're going to be with you. So you need to understand what's going on when it comes to these kinds of issues.
I think you bring up a great point about the parents' role, especially the moms. I know you guys are driving all these kids around each and every day. It's a super important point, taking that proactive approach to learning about the game. And Tony down here has actually been involved with this program. He's a USA Football ambassador. You've run your own youth football leagues, and you've seen this program implemented. What have been some of the most important and vital components to making youth football a safer game for these young kids?
Well, Gina, I wish that when I was involved in youth football, it was about 2 years ago, and I ran was 1 year ago, but the inception of it was 5 years ago, and we didn't have programs like Heads Up Football. And one thing that I share with everyone here, no, I'm not as pretty and beautiful as some of you young ladies here, but I share the anxiety of putting my kid in sports involved in football. And I went through, like everyone on this stage here, my son's 14, he's in middle school, and I still have those butterflies and anxiety about putting him in the game, but you know what? I feel good about the coaching. And I think that that's what Heads Up has done, is implemented accountability. These kids out here having fun on this field, you hear them scream, that's what football's about. So I think what Heads Up Football has done is it's made the coaches accountable. It helps you guys, Scott mentioned being engaged, knowing about the nuances of the game, because it does become complex. But one thing that's not complex is the safety of it. Making it safer for kids, because we all know football it can be tough, but if your parents feel good, especially the mother, she feels good, then that's going to make everyone happy. So, Gina, I think in answering your question, the accountability and having a program where you know that they're going to be taught, the coach is going to be teaching the safety aspect of it, because you can't make football. I mean, it's a tough sport, but if you make the nuances of the five the responsibilities, tackling, keeping your heads up, explosion, that's the fundamentals, and that's the grassroots, and I think that's what Heads Up Football provides.
And you need good coaches too, right? Coaches who know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's the biggest key here, as I mentioned, accountability. If you have coaches that, look, we've all been there. We've all seen these shows like Friday Night Tax. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's, to me, that's not what the game's all about when you're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Last time I checked, they weren't giving scholarships for kids that age, okay? We all would like to play on this big stage, but the bottom line is, look, you have to be, I mean, it's just a select group. So the coaches, that's the biggest proponent for me and for parents to know what the coach is doing. It's not like getting your kids subjecting them to not learning the fundamentals of tackling, it's hitting on how to teach the game. And so that's what this program really provides.
Michelle, I know so many of us want to get inside your head as it relates to what's going through your family's head when you approach game day, not just for Jason, but for your two young boys as well. I mean, you've had such wonderful opportunities because of football and what it's done for you and your family. But what are some of the thoughts that go through your mind as you enter a football game and you see Jason running on the field in Philadelphia without his helmet on his head? What goes through your mind?
I am so thankful that the awareness that's been raised for concussions and whatnot, because even this is Jason's 12th year, and when he first started, the awareness was not there as it is now. And there was a game that Jason, the trainers actually hid his helmet, did not allow him to go back in, but that was smart coaching and good trainers that would not allow him, because of course the player wants to play and the son wants to play, and they don't see at that moment the risk down the road. And so I'm thankful to the Cowboys, the trainers, and making one of the hardest decisions for Jason, because he would have not pulled himself out of the game. So I had the same concerns for my boys as you do. However, the fact that the coaches are now certified with heads up makes me feel peace of mind that they are trained, that yes, their dad can teach them at home, hey, let's keep our head up, tackle this way, do this, but the fact that they're hearing it from someone other than dad or mom at home is huge. And so I have the same concerns you are, but I know that the risks of any sport, the benefits outweigh those risks as far as what you learn on the field from sports and whatnot.
I remember